Hello. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. Again, please share this live. Share it now, share it when it's over, but just share it. It's live. Share it now, share it when it's over. I hear myself. Just share it. Hold on. Share it now, share it when it's over. I hear myself. There we go. Is that better? Oh, goodness. Thank you, Lighting the Way Home. Yes, please hit the like and please share, and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Hey, Jill. Hey, Raggedy. Hey, Polly. Hey, Jerry. Good to see you. Yeah, so if you could, please share it to your community. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Just please share it for this little boy and his mom and his sister and his nephew and his whole entire family and the community, the school, the community that loves this little boy. Hey, Lake, good to see you. So I struggled with how to best put this together because, again, I did create a playlist, so you can go back and watch the first live I did on it. Don't mind the wrinkly curtain behind me and me crying, of course. And then I did a follow-up where I did interview Haley. And then obviously the short video that I just dropped. And then today will be the 4th episode on this case. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy, but let's get through this. So I'm just going to start with, obviously, here is Nakota, and you can't see it because I'm in the way. There, he was born May 25th of 2010, and he died on July 18th of 2020. Nakota Blake Kelly was born, I already said that, to Haley and Miguel Nashama, aka Anthony Dibiah. He has multiple aliases. Nakota has one sister who does have a different father. Haley raised both of her children on her own until 2016 when Anthony was granted partial custody. Nakota is described as a 10-year-old biracial male with curly brown hair, brown eyes. He has a thin build and wore black-rimmed glasses. This is him. Such a beautiful little boy with so much happy. You can just see it in his eyes. He loved baseball. He loved being with his family. He loved everyone to be happy. He wanted everyone to be included and happy. And a lot of his teachers even, just what a joy he was in class and how they even advocated for him. But the biggest advocate who tried to advocate for Nakota was Nakota. And unfortunately, the system failed him by not listening, by not taking his warnings seriously, or his mother's, or the schools, or anyone else that really knew what was going on. And instead, they left this little boy to fend for himself every other weekend with an absolute monster who abused him from the first visit in 2016 until he killed him in July of 2020. He loved playing baseball and gaming. He grew up in Wabash, Indiana, and visited his father every other weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. He was afraid of his own father and repeatedly advocated for his own safety with DCS. On July 14th of 2020, Nakota said these haunting words to his mother when she told him he was going to have to go to his dad's because she made a report. She let them know, which you will see, they show it in the probable cause affidavit for arrest that they were contacted by CPS after he was already murdered of oh yeah, he actually told his mom on the 14th that if he had to go to his dad's, don't expect him to come home. My dad is going to kill me. When Ailey asked him why, he told her it was because he had hung up on his dad. She immediately called DCS, but they did not take this claim seriously, fearing she would be in contempt of court because the judge had just prior to this told her, if you don't send him, because she was not sending him because Nakota was afraid and he was being abused. That if you don't send him, not only will I take him away from you and give him to the monster, I'll take your other daughter too. You know, like, so she sent him to his dad's thinking that that would be better than him having to live with that monster full time. This is the monster himself. He had a YouTube, probably still up, of him doing workout routines and talking about COVID and different things. This is his arrest photo. His name is Anthony Dibiah, even though it's really not. So there's a bunch of AKAs. Ejike Dibiah, Ejike IB, Miguel Nashama, I'm not sure how to say that, Judson Mulbanzu, not sure how to say that one either, Tony Anthony. He was born on March 11th of 1983 in Nigeria. He is 5'8" with an athletic build, and this is his car, but now we don't need to know that, but this is the Jeep that he went on the run in. This is where they, in the probable cause, it talks about them seeing this Jeep here. So they were called out to the apartments that he lived in, right off of 10th Street. There's a little road that I can't remember the name of it. It runs next to 465. And this is the Jeep that they saw there when they went. They went the first time because he had called someone. I believe it was someone that lived in the apartment complex. He asked to borrow his suitcase. And then the person said, sure. And then he called back and said, I've killed my son and I'm, on the run. I'm not in Indiana. And then there was, that was the second phone call. The first one was someone in Texas who called and basically was like, he just called me. He really freaked me out. He wanted my address. And then he, when he started to get scared, but he said that he'd killed his son and, like, I'm calling to let you know. So they send officers out that night and they saw this Jeep parked in front of the apartment complex that he lived in. They knocked on the door. They heard movement inside of the apartment, but no one answered, and they did not feel at that time that they had probable cause to enter, so they didn't. But by the next morning at around 11:30, they did get they went back, and the Jeep was gone at this time. They did spot some blood right outside of the apartment door. They felt like they had enough probable cause to enter, and they did, and they walked into a horrific scene. When I talked to a couple IMPD officers, that's Indianapolis Metro Police Department, when you could just tell when someone is recounting a memory that they have of an event, and it has haunted them. These two officers were haunted. They were, I can't imagine walking into a scene where it's about a 10-year-old boy and you find blood splatter, brain matter, hair that had been swept up into a broom, blood everywhere, and then that's when the investigation began. And this was on July 18th is when he killed him. He talked to his mother at 7:30 p.m., a text message to his mother. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So let's list like what we know about this guy. Okay, so he came to the United States in 2002 illegally, with an assumed name. He eventually stole the identity of the teenage son of the Nigerian family he was staying with in North Carolina. He was reported for this in 2011 and sentenced to 36 months in federal prison for identity theft, Social Security fraud, and misusing documents to enter the U.S. Upon his release in 2014, his own country of Nigeria refused to take him back. So he was released by ICE and returned to Indiana. In October of 2016, he petitioned the court for custody of Nakota, the son he did not want, and demanded proof of paternity when Haley told him she was pregnant. This is a very manipulative letter that he wrote to the judge. It was near the bottom where he says, I'm very sorry for my actions. Hopefully my kids will not have to grow up without a father. I hate it when parents weaponize their children. I think it's just absolutely sickening. This is the probable cause. I'm not going to read it. I just, wanted, this is where I got my information. And one of the important things is that on March 17th, okay, so this is the Friday, on the, what did we just read? Was that on the 15th, 16th, 15th, 16th, something like that? Nakota says, my dad's going to kill me if I have to go this weekend. His mother informs him he has to go. But on Friday night is this little boy's last baseball game of the season, okay? And the court order is that Nakota be dropped off at a meeting point in between Wabash and Indianapolis at 6 o'clock, right? So he was going to be a little bit late. Because if she couldn't get him there by 6. So she let Dibiah know that it was his last game and he was going to be a little bit late. To which, of course, the controlling sicko that he is was highly upset over this. Messaging her and demanding and threatening that he's going to take her back to court, and if you don't obey, I'm going to take you back to court. And Haley had just had to see, Nakota had already had to miss his baseball games. It's not like his dad really cared. He's an object to him that he can control and use over her. So he didn't attend any of his own child's sporting events. He didn't do any of that. So this little boy had already had to miss so much. And this was something that he loved. And his team loved him. And she was just like, you know what? He's not, this is the last game. He's he's going to go. We're literally just going to be a little bit late. And she kind of put her foot down. And this is what he wrote to her, and I quote, this was the last time I will work with you concerning the visitation schedule. Yeah. So that to me is, he's on the 17th, he's already upset. So I think that these little things, if you put them all together, they kind of show you that he isn't mentally ill. He's just a domestic abuser. He is a federal criminal with felonies.'s an illegal alien. He's not a good person, but he almost drove me mentally ill. But he's not mentally ill. He is really smart and he knows what he's doing. And it is disturbing. This was the thing that I was talking to you guys about yesterday. This is him. He picked Nakota up, and Nakota had just gotten his hair colored. And you can see here, you know, not a big deal. And he looks so cute, and look how happy he looks. Like he loved this. And he goes to his dad that weekend, and his dad is ridiculously upset over his hair. And to embarrass him, he made him go in to, looks like a gas station here, with a shirt over his head and took a picture just to, just to really humiliate this little boy. And when they got home, this is what he did to him. His father did this. Okay? Here's a pattern for you. This is a pattern. This is just one example of the abuse that this little boy had to go through at the hands of his father. And this is abuse. This is physical abuse. And this is, his teachers got involved, and the courts did nothing. This is a picture of the apartments. At first, I was curious as to if these dumpsters were searched, and especially before pickup day. And I was assured by the IMPD officers that I met that yes, they were thoroughly searched. And he told me, he's like, I personally got him. I know that he is not in any of those dumpsters. This is his route to where he was finally apprehended in Missouri. And he texted Haley at 2:01 p.m. On the 19th. Could this be why his phone pinged near Monroe City? So we have a ping here, and he was traveling west on 36 near Monroe City, and then Annabelle, Macon, and then he was arrested. He was picked up by Missouri State Police, I believe. But when I mapped all of this out, there was like an hour. I think I should say it on the next thing here. Yeah, he leaves his apartment for the last time. This is in the probable cause affidavit at 8:30 a.m. He is arrested at 3:21 p.m. same day in Monroe, I believe. And so the approximate drive time, straight through is 5 hours and 4 minutes. So the remainder of that was 1 hour and 47 minutes. What was he doing, and where was he putting his son in that 1 hour and 47 minutes? And, my thing is if he thought of her, right, the person that he wanted to hurt by killing Nakota, he texted her at 2:01. What was he doing there at that time? What had he stopped to do? This is the area that was searched by law enforcement, and I'm going to take this. We'll look at the map really quick. Hey, Chaotic. So this is, I believe it's called Westlake Apartments. It's in Indianapolis. Let's turn this around here. Okay, so he lived here. This was where his apartment was. He took 3 trips the night that he killed his son, leaving the apartment. Again, remember, 7:30 is when she texted him asking him, just like, I think it was about whether he was hungry or if he'd had anything to eat. And he'd said he'd had like some little like what was it, like a yogurt cup or something, not dinner for sure. So trip one, he leaves his apartment. So man, the timing of that is just so sad, because I don't think that the officers that stopped by that night could have saved Nakota. I think that he was already deceased, but they could have at least found his body. But he left at 2:27, and he was gone until 3:15, and he went northbound. And I was told by the IMPD officers that he went to Lowe's. It's right here. So he was there at time to buy some of the things that he needed to get rid of Nakota. Trip 2 was also northbound at 4:20 a.m. till 4:47 a.m. I can't remember what he said, but they knew that, like, they thought that it was back to Lowe's. And then his third trip was at 6:22 a.m. until 7:44 a.m. And he goes southbound. And again, remember, 7:44 is when he returned, and he leaves for good at 8:30 a.m. on the morning of the 19th. And this is the route that he went. He went up here. There's nowhere else that you can go to get to here other than going out and around. This is 465. This is 36, State Road 36. The I don't know if it's a Costco or Sam's Club here. And then this is West Vermont. And this is where they searched for him, in this area here. They did tell me that they searched the dumpsters in here. I tried to find any dumpsters, and then there was some, I can't remember where the other ones are, but again, they said he's not in any of them. They personally searched. But yeah, so this is where they believe that some of Nakota's remains are located in this area right here. My cousin and I actually, we went and searched. It's really thick. Like, we couldn't, and it's kind of scary. Like, I don't know if it shows this little area here. Well, it appears a lot cleaner than it really is. It looks like they've done some cleaning up, but I don't remember any of this being there when we went. But it was just it looked like a dumping ground, to be honest. And then we tried to enter, like, we drove down here, and there were some things I was like, oh man, I'd really like to get out, but it's not a for two women. We wanted to. We did actually drive down here a little bit, but yeah, definitely. So then we decided to try to find somewhere where we could access. What does that? Access the get to the creek, and we ended up down here. We parked here, and I not sure what I was thinking. But I just said, this is a culvert where this does shoot out water. What it does, if it had have done that while I was climbing on all these rocks to get down to here, I would have died for sure. So, just that impulsiveness. I came down here, and there was something really weird in the water right here. But again, we had no protective gear. This is not a clean creek by any stretch of the means. So we kind of stopped searching, but I've always wondered about that. I have a picture of it on my phone, but I've always wondered about what that was in the water down there. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of the area so you guys know what we're talking about here. And then I wanted to read a little bit before I share the audio of, well, first I want to share the article, like the newest article of his, make sure I have it still, and it's not going to scare us half to death with a pop-up. Okay. Probably will. Oh. Did I freeze? Yeah, that's him. An Indianapolis man has agreed to plead guilty in the death of his 10-year-old son, Nakota Kelly, court records show. Anthony Dibiah has agreed to plead guilty, but mentally ill, to a charge of murder in Nakota's death, according to a plea agreement filed Monday by Marion County Prosecutor's Office. So disappointed in them. Under Indiana law, a defendant found to be guilty but mentally ill must be provided mental health treatment, either in the Department of Corrections or another state facility. They still serve the prison sentence like any other offender, which is good, I guess, but still. Nakota, who lived with his mother in Wabash, was on a court-ordered weekend visit when prosecutors say Dibiah smothered the boy to death on July 18th of 2020 and fled the state. Police arrested Dibiah the next day in Missouri, according to court records. Police found evidence including hair, blood smears, and brain matter in Dibiah's Indianapolis apartment, but they never found Nakota's body. Haley Kelly, Nakota's mother, said she has mixed emotions about the plea agreement. She's glad the case may finally be resolved. And again, like they didn't ask her, like they didn't give her a courtesy of like, what do you think we should do? They just did this with his two newly retained attorneys, Courtney Benson-Kooy and Deana. It's in the show notes. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to show you. This was the first jury trial was scheduled on November 23rd of 2020, and this is it was canceled and rescheduled to February. Then that was canceled and rescheduled to May. That was canceled and rescheduled to September. That was canceled and scheduled again for November. Canceled again and then reset for January. Canceled again and set for March of 2022. Canceled again and set for May. Canceled again and set for July. Canceled again and set for September. Canceled again and set for November. Canceled again and set for January 2023. Canceled again and set for March. Canceled again, set for May. Canceled again, set for July. And the or Brian Kevin. Let me see if I can find it. But he's literally been his lawyer until just recently, when those two, that it does say that they are retained. Like, who in the hell retained two lawyers for this guy? I have no idea. But yeah, so Brian Kevin Lamar, important for what you'll hear in the audio later, okay, had been his attorney up until, so from the beginning of the case, he was appointed as a public defender in 2020 when it happened. And then he is the one responsible for all of these reschedulings and nonsense. And, you know, they use the COVID for most of those excuses. And then let's see, where was it? So on the 14th, you know, like we have court, and it's rescheduled. See this date here, you know, November 14th. There's no mention of another hearing on September 29th. You know, there's no mention of any kind of hearing. Gosh, where is it? Like, okay, so yeah, here in May it was denied, and then she ended up agreeing to it, and then it was approved for cameras to be in the court for this trial, and then another motion to continue, which of course, you know, Mrs. Honorable Shatrese Flowers had nothing really to say. It was like all of these hearings were lickety split. Okay, sure, said it again. No urging them to get it together. No, you know, and like this Brian Lamar guy would just kind of lament on and just kind of like, well, I've been on vacation, and then like thinks he's funny, you know, like this is in, you know, you can watch these on Zoom. It just ridiculous. So then you see, so lets them know about the hearing that was scheduled. So on September 27th, okay? And then the hearing is held on September 29th, and it's a change of plea hearing. And he has two new lawyers, Courtney and Benson-Kooy and Deana Louise Martin. The prosecuting lead chair is Kristin Orr, the one that agreed to this plea agreement. Her name is Kristin Orr with the Marion County Prosecuting Office, just so you guys know. So he's sworn in. They have this hearing on the 29th. He answers some yes and no questions, looking completely disheveled. Which I'll show you here in a minute. And yeah, so she ordered this is for the judge, a pre-sentence investigation report to be done. And she still has the judicial power to not accept this. They usually do, but she does have the judicial power, and that's why I find this like doing these and releasing these audios, which I honestly never was going to. But I did record them, the audio of them, so that my friends and I that created this, you know, that created my persona in order to try to get him to tell where Nakota was, we listened to them, and then we would plan our next virtual with him and what my persona that I took on was going to do and say to try to get him to give this information to law enforcement. But I wanted to read you what I wrote back. This was in one of the two that I did. I think it was in 2020. and again in 2021. Let me find that part. Okay, a personality like this may never divulge where the body is hidden. Why? They will sacrifice whatever and whoever they have to get the queen. Nakota was a pawn, not a son to this sicko. A chess match he had to win to hurt the mother of his child. I could see him not telling. This is what I'm saying all the way back then. I can see him not telling where Nakota is just to spite her. God, I hate this guy. I know people like this guy, and I'm sure you do as well. They are blinded by control. That's the cold truth. I think he premeditated the murder of his own son and is going to try to claim schizophrenia to plead insanity. That's what I said all the way back then. Hell no. Let's flip the script if we can. How? By finding Nakota. We can take control away from him. That will drive him nuts. My goal is to find Nakota's remains before this a-hole has a chance to barter this information to receive a lesser sentence or refuse to ever tell to keep his perceived control. I do not want that. And I talked a little bit about, I'll just read it. My cousin and I went out to search the areas between the apartment complex and West Vermont Street. During this two-person search, we found something that looked suspicious and called Marion County non-emergency line. They sent out 2 officers. After showing these 2 officers what we had found, they talked to us about the case. They were both present on July 19th of 2020. One said he personally checked the dumpsters in the apartment complex and beyond, and Nakota was not there. He also said that we should keep searching the area near West Vermont. Why? Because they only had a limited amount of time and resources to search, and they very well could have missed him. And they were asking us, like, well, why are you here instead of where, his phone pinged? And I'm like, well, because you guys already searched there, so that could be checked off. And he was like, no, please don't. And then he even helped kind of talked us through how pinging works and what a circumference of pings works. And they were imploring us, like, can you get more people? Can you go back to that area and search? Like, it's sad that this ginormous, the biggest, police department in Indiana does not have near the amount of officers, budget, time, and the so many deaths that we never hear about at all. Not even one line in a newspaper. It's very sad. But if you get on Broadcastify and you do the live IMPD, it doesn't matter if it's a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon. It never stops. And the weekends are insane. I feel so bad for the 911 operators and law enforcement in Indianapolis, Indiana. I really do. My heart goes out to them. They do so much more than other police departments. So much more work. It's really sad. And he had also said that the items that Dibiah purchased at Lowe's that night led them to believe that Nakota was dismembered and placed in 3 garbage bags. And he said that because it was he just bought the trash bags. And so I think he said there were 4, or there was I can't remember how many he said were missing, but they could account for, I know they found 1 in a dumpster. And so 3 of those were unaccounted for, and that's why they think that he put him, based on what he bought at Lowe's, they have that receipt, and the amount of bags that were missing, that's what led them to believe that he had been dismembered and his parts strewn from, hidden, not just thrown about, hidden in that West Vermont area that I just showed you, and then in Illinois, and then in Missouri as well. Okay, so this is what I know about Dibiah from my interactions with him, okay? The first visit I had with Dibiah was on March 16th of 2021. When he showed up, he was extremely disheveled. He looked similar to how he looked, and I will show you here in a second, at his recent hearing. I recorded an audio of this visit. I did not, because you're not allowed to record virtual visits with inmates, but I just recorded the audio on my phone. I wish I had have figured out a way to take a picture of him, but I did not. So you just have to take my word for it. And I'm sure my friends remember because we had a conversation about this. But in the very beginning, I commented on how different he looked compared to how he looked prior to his arrest. And I brought up his YouTube videos that I found, and, of he looked really nice, well kept. And he said he hadn't cared to clean himself up. So during this first visit, I observed that his conversational skills were normal. He didn't look great, but he talked completely normal. He was smiling and trying to flirt, and so dirty, and talking like a normal human. He did have the nerve to tell me that he loved his son. Well, that was hard to keep that fake, persona in place for. There was a lot that was hard to keep. I'm not a good actress, I'll tell you that. I could tell that he was a controlling individual literally from the very first interaction I had with him. Just those little subtle ways of hey, wait, can you turn your audio up? And one time, because he kept saying it, and I didn't. I acted like I turned my audio up, but I didn't touch it at all. And I was like, is that okay? And he was like, yeah, that's much better, thank you. So these were the little things that I noticed from the get-go. He had told me that he wished he could tell me about what happened, but his lawyer had told him that he should not do that. I could tell he was, I called so once the virtual visit was over, I called my friends who helped me to prepare. I told them then, if he shows up for the next virtual visit, clean shaved and clean, period, I have him. Because to me, that would be a sign that, this is an act. This whole crazy looking, disheveled man is an act. And sure enough, he showed up to the next one looking spiffy. He looked his appearance matched his speech and affect. And he, and I was like, okay, we got him. Our goal was, he hates Haley. He couldn't control her. He couldn't get her to go back to him. And what he did in Nakota was the spite. I've always felt like it was spite. And so if I felt like if I could bring that into it somehow, well, you still care about her. So, because you're not telling where your son is. And then maybe if he would stop focusing on his hatred and spite of her, then maybe he would tell them where he put Nakota's body. And our plan, it worked. It did work. He and then after, this, literally from the first visit, he started calling me obsessively. I'm talking every day, multiple times a day. It was so stressful. He's the last person I want to talk to. So bad so that he does have an accent. I don't know. It triggers me getting sweaty and like anxious to hear that accent still to this day. Like, just really took a toll on me. And then this point too, you have to remember, I had just had 2 back-to-back surgeries and was really ill. I was hospitalized for like 5 days for the second one. You know, they were both had to be done, but they were too close together for anyone's wellness or mental health, you know, and I had to move in with my parents because I had to have like, I could, you know, it's not like I could have stayed here, but people would have had to stop going to work, you know, and my parents are retired. So it just made more sense for me to go there to recover because it was a round the clock job for them. And I'm forever grateful to them for taking care of me. But he would say things like, when are you going to put money on my books? I need you to come to the jail tomorrow to put money on my books. I don't have anything. And he did tell me that he couldn't contact his family because of where they lived in Nigeria, and that they didn't have mail. Like they didn't have like even like a, you know, like how we have the mail, United States like mail, like they don't have that in the village that he came from. I did really like, I felt like I blocked a lot of it out because it was just so, he was just so much, and he was just so like persistent and upset, like just very controlling, just very like it's hard to even describe. But I thought this would only be like a month because remember all those dates I just read off. So I contacted him the first time was March, and his next hearing was in May. Well, it later got canceled, but I'm like, okay, I can do this until then. And then it turned into July, and by then I was literally, you can ask my friends if they're in the chat, like I was hanging on by a very, very thin thread. And I had to end it, and I felt so guilty, like so guilty, because I haven't lost my child, you know, like I haven't, I don't have my child missing, and to know the atrocities that he did to Haley, and I just felt so guilty for not being able to keep this charade up to get this information. And when I told Haley that, you know, like she's just such a gracious, kind person. She's like, you can't, it's okay. You know, you did your best. And I told her we're going to give it one last go, and we're going to really like try to get him to tell us. And that is what took place, what you're going to hear here in a second, on July, I believe it was July 23rd of 2021. And my friends and I, and Haley, like she was involved in this whole process the whole time. She gave me background on him, gave me insight into his personality so that I could create my persona to be something that he would gravitate to. My friends and I, like we worked really hard. They helped me a lot. Like we really, really thought, you know, this would work. And I think it did work. But unfortunately, they did nothing. So, just very sad. All right. Am I still sharing my screen? Yes. Okay. I have to do this on, I don't have enough space to download it. So it's just on Canva. I'm going to make sure you can hear it first. It's circling, so hopefully it doesn't.
I wish
Can you guys hear that?
I wish I can just...
Let me know in the chat if you can hear it. Hi, Grandma Watches. Hey, Carol. Yeah, very true, Carol. So, Carol, you can hear it? Okay, Lake says you can hear it? Okay. Here we go.
I don't even have no access to anything.
Hold on. I'm gonna... Oh. Let's see if you can... Let me know if you... Or let me know if you can hear it with mine muted. Were you able to hear that when I muted my mic? No, you couldn't? Okay. I just know I can't mute my mic. Okay. All right.
But you don't know your...
I wish I can just... You see, I don't even have no access to it.
Can you still hear it? Can you hear it now?
Anything. I wish...
Yes, Jerry? You can hear it?
You see, I don't even have no access to it.
Okay, all right.
Anything. I wish I can just... You see, I don't even have no access to anything. This is what my lawyer is trying to do.
But you know where your baby is. You know where he is. And you...
Yes, I do.
Only want to tell to get yourself out of prison.
Okay, this is what he looked like in court for his hearing. This is the guy that showed up to my very first virtual visit as well. But the next time we had one, he showed up looking like the picture that will come up next.
No, that is what the lawyer wants.
He looked like this.
So what? That doesn't... So what?
I want to make sure you heard that, though.
Yes, I do.
Only want to tell... But you know where your baby is. You know where he is. And you...
Yes, I do.
Only want to tell to get yourself out of prison.
No, that is what the lawyer wants.
So what? That doesn't... So what? It's on you.
I don't have no access to the prosecutor, though. I don't have no access to talk to the prosecutor.
Yeah, I don't...
My lawyer is the one that represents me. I thought...
Your lawyer represents you. You're absolutely right. And he has to do what you want to do. So don't put it on him.
Okay.
Like, it's you.
No, see. Okay, see. What I told my lawyer was I want to get this over with. I asked him to tell the prosecutor that I don't want to take this to trial. That I want to sign it. I want to sign the papers so that I can get this over with. But my lawyer said I should give him time to see if the prosecutor will give me a deal. I told him that I don't want no deal. I told him that I don't want no deal. That I did what I did. Okay? I mean, there is nothing I can do myself. But I do understand how you feel. And I'm telling the truth.
So you're saying that you didn't dismember him? You didn't?
No, I did not.
Eat
No,
him?
I did not.
Like the eating
Why would
part?
I
I mean,
no.
I don't know. I mean, I felt like that was like
The eating part, we made up. We had a whole ruse of why I had to, why I was, basically the ruse was like my family has found out and they are very upset that I'm talking to you, and to the point where a family member of mine called and a friend of his in IMPD, which this is all made up. That you ate your son, and I wanted to get him. I wanted to say something, and I think this was Hoosier Cold Case's main idea, which was brilliant. But we wanted to like say something to him to get him to like trick, like get him like, whoa, no, I didn't do that. But yeah, like you see what I'm saying there by that? Okay, I just wanted to let you know that.
like what in the world? But
No, that's too much.
But I looked into the.
Well, that's a good question, Kaleidoscope. My persona was basically just, I never came out and like, I wanted to date a prisoner or an inmate or anything like that. It was just more like, well, with COVID, I'm like lonely. I'm kind of a shut-in, like going through some medical stuff, and I'm not able to work. And, like I'm just kind of like lonely. And I had heard I'd heard Haley talking to Suffer the Little Children, which is true. She's a podcast and she's brilliant. Please subscribe to her. Her information is in the show notes of this episode. But and that I just didn't think we basically, and Haley was fully aware of this. Like she knew exactly what we were doing. That I was gonna basically kind of paint her as the bad guy, and that like she just drove him to madness, or just totally not what I think at all. And Haley knew that, but she thought it would work too, and so that's what we went with. But thank you for asking. That's a great question, Kaleidoscope.
The dismembering part, and that's exactly what it said from the beginning, that you did do that. So
I did not do that. I didn't.
Well, where is like I don't want to know. Like I don't want to know. I want you to tell them. There, surely to God, who cares about a deal? I guess I understand. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I don't know. I
don't care about a deal.
But that's what you said earlier, is that like you're not telling them. They can go get.
Trying to do a deal, which I don't care about a deal. I don't give the give 45 years. I don't care about. Well,
they were, like I told you before. What I was worried about was that they were going to give you the death penalty. But I don't know. Do you think that they won't give you the death penalty if they never find his body? Is that it? Like, I'm trying to like figure it out.
Please. I don't care what they do to me. Okay, I don't care. It's only that if a lawyer will listen to me, because I've been sitting here for over a year now, and my lawyer haven't done nothing. I told him last time that I don't want any deal. I want to sign the papers so I can move on with my life. But he said I should give him 1 month to get me a deal. I told him I don't want no deal. I've been calling my lawyer all this week, and he hasn't even answered my phone call.
There has to be something that you can do.
The only thing I can do is to talk to my lawyer.
There's got to be like a prison. I don't know how prisons work, but is there like a guard? Like someone you could say like, hey, that you're the boss of wherever you're at, and be like, hey, I want to talk to this person. I don't know. I just think that I can't see that there isn't someone in the jail that like, okay, maybe you can't make an outside call. If that's all it is, hell, I'll give you the money to call the prosecutor's office myself. I imagine if I had a child and like if my child died and then how can I live with myself if, what if that was my kid, my niece, and to not be able to like have a Christian burial? Maybe that's not important. Like, I don't know much about your culture.
No, that's my culture. I'm a Christian too.
But like a proper burial, a child should have that. And like, if you're just bargaining for that, like, I can't.
No, I'm not bargaining. I'm not.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not bargaining at all.
I'm still trying to, like, I don't know that I believe you about the dismemberment. I don't know what in the world, because it makes sense. I mean, how else have they been able to charge you with murder without a body? There had to have been something major to make them do that. And I can't think of very many things other than just a ton of blood, which, I don't know.
Just give me time.
You don't have any more time. Like, I don't believe you that there's no one there that you could say, hey, I need to talk to the prosecutor, and that you couldn't make that happen outside of your shitty lawyer, because it sounds like he's a real piece of shit. And I want to believe that he is and that you're not. And I don't know why you wouldn't want him to be somewhere where you know he's at. And I don't know, like, well, you know where he is, but just like, to have a headstone, to have like his name and his birth date and in memory of, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't.
Look, please, let me say this again. The last time I had a conversation with my lawyer, which was last month ending, I told him, plead guilty. That's what I told him. I told him I know where the body's at. But he said...
You hear that?
Say this again.
Okay, well, I do want to say, great question, Grandma Watches. The number and the email that you see on the screen is for the judge. And I would like for anyone that is willing and able to send an email or call there and implore them to not give him this deal unless he tells them where he hid Nakota's body. It is appalling that was not a condition of this plea agreement that Kristin Orr, the prosecutor, and Courtney, Benson-Kooy, and Deana concocted up that she agreed, that Kristin Orr agreed to this, and that was not a condition of it. That is appalling. What if this was their baby? What if this was their child? What if this was your little boy? And they're going to give this monster a plea deal and not make him tell where he hid this little boy's body? He will never tell them once he is sentenced, ever. Like I told you yesterday, this man went to great lengths to hide this body, not to get away with this, not to get away with it. He did nothing to not get away with it. He did not clean the crime scene up. He didn't clean out his Jeep. He called people, like he went on that trip to dispose of this little boy. I 100% believe that. And he says it right here. So that's what I want. I want everyone to email or call the judge and beg her to please make him telling them where he hid this little boy's body a condition of his plea agreement. Just that's it. That's all I want. Is just, I will give you the case number here in a minute, and I will add it to the show notes because I did forget, but you can reference the case note, the cause number, and his name, and the date of when the sentencing hearing is, and just say, please make him tell where he hid this little boy's body as a part of his plea deal. Or don't give him one if he refuses to tell where this little boy's body is. Don't give him a plea if he refuses to tell. Don't give him 55 years. Give him life without the possibility of parole if he refuses to tell, please. But listen to this again.
The last time I had a conversation with my lawyer, which was last month ending, I told him, plead guilty. That's what I told him. I told him I know where the body's at. But he said, I should give him some time to see if he can come with a deal. I told him I don't want no deal. Now, if there's a way you can get the prosecutor's information and give it to me, I can call them. It's a she.
It's a she.
Huh?
Who's it? Your lawyer's a she?
No, my lawyer is a he. But my prosecutor is a she.
I'm just not gonna do. I can't. If you don't do that, then I'm done. Like, and you won't hear from me again.
I wanna do it, but my hands are tied. I mean, I can't do much.
I don't know.
You okay?
I just feel like that. Surely to God, there's somewhere in there that you could figure out a way to talk to them and tell them where he's at. Like, I don't get that. I mean, do you not have, like, internet or books?
No, we don't have access to internet here.
How can I help you then?
Okay, what you can do is look into my case, find out the name of the prosecutor and her phone number. Then you can give it to me, then I'll call her directly. Hopefully she will answer. Or you can call the number and let them know that I'd like to speak to them. They should come and see me in jail. I think that's best way to go.
Well, I don't understand how I'm supposed to find out about your case.
Well, you can look it up.
Where? What? I mean, I'll just call him.
We have 5 minutes.
I don't know. I mean,
Call them, tell them to come and see me. Give them my information. Tell them to come and see me. If you can do that.
I mean, I think that would be easier than getting access to your case. Like, surely that's not a thing.
Or you can tell the detective, you can call them to come and see me. I mean, that's the best way I think you should do it. But I'm not lying to you. I will not lie to you. I promise. Okay?
Yeah, I'll try. I hope that I hope that you do that. And I hope that...
I will do it. As long as...
And I'm not going to talk to you. Like, I'm not going to, like, you're not going to string me along in this, like, you said you told him a month ago. And, like, I'm not going to be that person. We're not going to be like, oh, yeah, it's scheduled, blah, blah, blah. Like, excuse after excuse.
I don't have any excuse because of there's no excuse for me to give you. The thing is this, I am tied in here. If you can get the detective to come and talk to me here, or if you can get the prosecutor to come and talk to me here.
But if I find out, like, that you are still trying to wiggle a deal, like, I am done. Like, I'm done.
No deal.
I'm done.
I'm not doing no deal.
Like, I don't want you to die, and, like, I don't know. I don't know if you even deserve to be in prison for life. Like, I don't know. If you try to get some kind of a deal to barter a child's body, then I'm done. Like, I cannot live with myself. I can't. I just picture my niece being out there, and, like, karma's a real bitch, So, but we only have 1 minute and 56 seconds, so.
Hey, don't cry. I promise you, I'm not bargaining or nothing. I wanna guilty, like I told my lawyer.
Yeah.
I told him that. When can you schedule another visit?
I don't know. I mean,
You know, I get like 10 minutes free visit every week.
yeah, I had to pay for this one. I mean, I don't know, probably not until like later next week. If I don't know, I have to think about it, and like I don't know. I guess maybe the proof's in the pudding, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But I'll try to figure that stuff out, and hopefully they'll work quickly.
Come see me. Just come see me.
All right.
I wish I can just. You see, I was.
Okay. That was the last time that I spoke to him on a virtual. I did talk to him. This happened on a Friday, and as soon as I got off of this virtual, I first tried to call the judge's like clerk, like the clerk of court, like her secretary, and I was informed that that is some kind of a she couldn't talk to me, you know, she couldn't I couldn't tell them she could violated something or whatever. I remember at the time, and I'm like, okay, that does make sense. And they advised me to call the IMPD, you know, criminal investigative division, which I did. And I left them a message telling them that I have been speaking on virtual visits, which they do have, you know, they're all recorded, and the phone calls that he called me, and that he is willing, because that was what he said, you know, if you can get them, I will tell them where his body is. And that was followed up. He called me again on, I think it was like a Monday. I'm not sure. He called me again sometime in between Friday and Monday before I'd heard from the detective. And again, he was kind of like, you know, pushy. And did you get a hold of them? I'm willing to tell them, you know, where his body is. And I'm like, I'm working on it, you know, like I haven't heard back. They haven't called me back. And they did call me back, and I talked to the detective that is the lead on his case, and he said that he appreciated the information. Was just kind of like, wow, like that's awesome. Because if I had told them what I planned to do, obviously then they wouldn't have been able, you know, like. But when you know, I'm just a citizen, so I don't have, you know, any kind of code that I have to abide by. So that the mistake that I made was, sadly, that I feel like I underestimated the lackadaisical. It's like they didn't care, you know, like did, you know, and I tried to call back. I think I talked to him one more time. You know, I'm like, he says if you go there, because that was another, he called me again. He said, and I said, you know, like they told me I had to call the criminal division, which I did. And they're like, get them to come here. Tell the detectives to come here. Because remember, he's wanting me to continue the virtual visits with him. So I did all I could. I called him. I begged them, please go. He's willing to tell you, like. And then he wanted me to call his lawyer to see if his lawyer would have a little bit more sway with getting them to tell him. Obviously, I'm not calling his lawyer because his lawyer's literally just going to turn out about and tell him to knock it off like he did before. Even though he said that this lawyer knows where Nakota's body is. How can you live with yourself? You're not his lawyer anymore. There has to be some loophole, anonymous tip, something that Brian Lamar can do if he truly does know where this little boy's body is. Come on. So they didn't, he tells me that they've not come. And then he said that he had a meeting with his lawyer, and the lawyer said that, I didn't call him. And which is true, I didn't. And I was like, well, I haven't had time. Like, I haven't yet, and that was kind of when I had it. Like, I thought, this was, I think, lasted for like 2 more weeks, I think. I don't know. I'm hazy on the time frame, because this was, I'd had surgery. Like I'm still just getting out of the hospital at this time, and after he spoke to his lawyer, it was pretty clear that, he didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure the lawyer was like, no. And I think that the lawyer probably did look into me and realize that I am not, some, lonely person wanting to talk to inmates. That it was all just a ruse. So I never heard from him again. And I still haven't to this day, and I never will again. And I hope that I get to look him in the eye at that sentencing. And I hope that he sees who I am, and I'm going, and for that purpose alone. And that I know that he knows exactly where this little boy's body. And I know that what he told me that his lawyer knows. And that he was at this time willing to tell them where he hid this little boy's body. He says they never came to see him. And that's why I said, because I told him, you heard me say, like, I don't maybe that part, that was, I don't want you to tell me. I want you to tell them. Like, because I thought that if I had him tell me, that would have been like overstepping my, my place as just like a citizen. And I didn't know if that would like mess anything up either, but I wanted him to tell them. And that is the main regret that I have, is that I didn't ask him to tell me. Because I will never know if he would have, and if in 2021 we could have found this little boy, but I don't know, I just trusted that they would go and get this information from him. And and the thing is like I told he could be stringing me along, he could be lying, but what if he's not? What if he will tell you? Like, that's just like, just please go, And I never heard back from them again, and haven't till this day. And just been, the only updates that I've been putting on the page is, well, they've rescheduled it again. And you saw how quickly they got this plea scheduled to go before the judge. Then they told Haley that she didn't even need to attend. Like, are you kidding? They just said, well, you're not required to. Like, yeah. So that's why it's like, I wish that I had done that part different, because I with or without them, I would have gone out and found this little boy's body, whether they wanted to be a part of it or not, but I would have done it. And then at least he could be buried in a grave that Haley's picked out, in a casket that she's picked out, with a gravestone that she's picked out, and a place to go and visit her little boy. So if I ever do this again, which I highly, highly doubt, I'm not going to leave it up to law enforcement. I'm going to try to get that information for myself. But this is what is happening. And again, please, the judge's name is Judge Shatrese Flowers. Her email is mccourts-d28@indy.gov, or you can call it 317-327-4996. And like I said before, just let's grab that case number right now and I'll add it. I'm going to put it in the chat. Hopefully you can screenshot it or copy it. This is his case number. I'm going to add it to the banner here too. So you want to reference this. So it is cause number 49D28-2007-MR-022508. Address Miss Honorable Judge Shatrese Flowers. The email again is mcourts-d28- D28 at indy.gov, or you can call at 317-327-4996. 49D28-2007-MR-022508. That is the case number that you want to reference in your email or your phone call. His name is Anthony Dibiah, which that is on his my case, even though it's not his real name. So that is the name that you want to tell them, and that you basically are wanting to plead with the judge to make his plea agreement that he's worked out with the state contingent upon him telling the courts and them finding his body where he put Nakota Kelly's body, and beg them to make that a part of his agreement with the state to tell where the body is, and that they actually go out and they find said body before they give him a deal. Because once he is sentenced, he will never tell where Nakota's body is. He will never tell them. Never. But so we've got until October 25th. So, yeah, make sure you do include the case number and the name. Yeah, that is an important part of this. I'm going to email and I'm going to call. Yeah. Why isn't my thing working? Oh, there it is. So, Johnny says, thank God you were acting, but I have to ask, why do ladies and men really like murderers or rapists? It seems crazy to me, but there really is people like that. There are. I'm definitely not one of them. Like I said, this was all a ruse. I hated every second of it. It was the hardest, one of the top 5 hardest things I've ever done. And the most, it mentally was, it was just eating me alive. This personality of him, it was triggering for me just from someone else in my past. But I am, he would catch me too, because I do not like to be bossed around and told what to do, or this is what you are going to do. That was his attitude. And I'm like, and I would, before I could even catch myself, I would break character and go right back into me and been like, F you. Like, I am not, you're not the boss of me. Like, you're not going to tell me what I am and am not going to do. Just point blank, period, dude. And I would get like, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be this demure, like, shut in that's like wanting a friend, and like, yeah, it was so hard. But yeah, I don't know. I have looked into the psychology of that particular thing, Johnny, and because it is considered a paraphilia, in the DSM-5. Under, paraphilia is just like a, um, like a one that everyone knows would be like, a foot fetish, or you know, some kind of, like a lot of serial killers, they like to have sex with corpses, and that's a paraphilia. And there's a ton of paraphilias in this. When I looked it up, it is considered a paraphilia, but I think that a lot of the research is kind of split on why women and men do this, and I think that it depends on the background of the person. There was someone that reached out to Garrett Kurtz and became his girlfriend there for a little while, and that's what got me like, why would this, knowing what he is, like, why would you want to, like, date someone like that? Like, I don't get it. And some of them is just like naive, like this girl that's decided that she believes Ashley Garth and that Ashley Garth is innocent. It's the same thing, like, they are naive, and they think that they didn't do it. Most of the time, people that are on death row or in prison for life, they absolutely did do it. The exception to the rule, and it does happen, and it should never happen. Don't get my words twisted. Someone being wrongfully convicted of a crime is the worst thing that someone in the United States of America would have to endure, is being falsely imprisoned or put to death for a crime they did not commit. But it is the exception to the rule. But people want to believe that, the good in people. And I think also the background of that person, of like, what kind of a relationship have they had before? Because it's really safe to have a boyfriend where where he is. That he can't get to you, he can't hurt you, he can't cheat on you, or whatever. And so it's like this safety of having someone, but that also kind of like that. I'm talking to them. I think that because we've seen that in the Delphi case, even though Kegan Kline is not, in my opinion, he's not involved in Delphi whatsoever. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I don't think he is. And but there's been women that reached out to him, and the one that mainly gets all of the grief, I totally do not think that she genuinely, like, I think a lot of people mistake what she's doing, like, that she actually does, like, genuinely like him. And I thought, she doesn't. She's trying to do what I did. I think she believes that he is involved in Delphi, and I think she believes that she can, try to do what I did, and trick him into telling, and I don't want to get into the Brandon Woodhouse screenshots, but I do think you should go back and look at those. If true, that would be really, really weird. But yeah, so I think it's not just a simple answer, basically, is what I'm trying to say, Johnny. But it is an interesting, like, question to, like, why, because I'm always asking why. But yeah, it's like, why, like, what? I don't get it. But yeah. And again, with the Ashley Garth stuff and that girl, that I feel like it's like a paraphilia type thing, or she thought that she was going to be able to get information on Delphi, kind of like what I did with him, and what the other girl's doing with Kagan. And then she really fell for Ashley Garth's persona. Like, she is, you had to be there, you had to be there. You had to be there during all of the hearings prior to the trial, being there at the trial, watching the way this inhuman person conducted herself, the evidence, I mean, like, if you were there, and, like, yeah, she says she's getting all this information and all da 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 da. But I was already there, and, like, most of the things that she thinks are where I didn't tell the whole truth and all of it, or whomever didn't. I can guarantee you that I did. There were things that I found out after the fact, but we still know them. Like, you're not revealing anything that anybody doesn't know. Like, I think she really thinks she's got something to stand on. And to name it a girl from Delphi, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? A girl from Delphi. That is intentional. That is a freaking, what do they call that? Like, when someone's, basically just like a clickbait. Hey, Fluzzy B. Yeah, it's upsetting. That's just something not right with people. What's crazier, there's more than we think around us. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I think those who do it feel safe in the relationship. Yeah. And when they don't feel safe in real relationships. Yeah, I think that also applies with online relationships, just where the person, isn't in live in the same state. So there's just like that. I get to have that relationship, but I'm not like, I don't have to, put myself out there to the point of, like, day to day being with this person. You can call me Mel. You can call me Cold Truth, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, definitely call me Mel. It's cool. I did get her a little baby bat. So cute. I should have taken a picture of it so I could show you guys, but this week we came in the mail, and my man, he like interrupted my shower to be like, "What have you bought? Did you know that you bought this?" It's like he was trying to say, I don't even know, I can't even say it right either, etymologist, but well, I knew what he was trying to say. He's like, this is a real bat, like, it's like a, and I'm like, yeah, I know, she'll love it. He was like, who? He's like, Chaotic, she'll absolutely love it. But I did find a spider I was gonna get, so I was kind of glad I didn't get her the spider. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's the cutest little bat. It's amazing what you can order online. But oh, thank you, Mayo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Solid dude. thank you for supporting and for all you've done for this great country of the United States of America. And thank you for being a voice of reason and for caring about these cases. I know you're not a true crime kind of guy, but you really have like helped me quite a lot, and with Kimberly Moreau, you know, and different things, and I appreciate you. I really do. So thank you so much. These take a lot of work, and you don't want to do it to get money. However, when something takes up a lot of your time, like it's hard to justify giving that much time to it when you need to earn money, you know, like when you need to like support yourself. But this will never be a I don't know, if I ever did grow as a channel, I would be what Gray does. It would be 50-50, because having the ability to like really make a difference in the true crime community by donating to you know, companies like Othram and Colleen Fitzpatrick's company, and getting like giving people their names back, or solving old cold cases, and being able to like help fund those things, like that's really the like that's like the freaking, that's just, you know, incredible. Like that's like, yeah. I'm a guy and I speak to a female lifer convicted of murder. We talk about God a lot. Oh, wow. So, I mean, I have a lot of questions. It's hard to answer them in chat, but like, what brought you to do that? Did you know her, or? That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, like, I do too. That's why I recommend doing both. Yeah, but definitely calling. I think if, you know, if you could get a hold of anybody, because remember I've called before and like got shut down immediately. So that's why I wanted to make sure you had the phone number and the email. And all right, guys. Like I said, I don't have I don't even know if it's, I don't know what is going on with my computer, but I got so upset too. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't realize that my iCloud was like, I was on my iCloud account. I thought I was just clearing out stuff from my computer, but I was actually clearing stuff out from my iCloud. So when I deleted all of my messages, like just like my phone messages, off the computer, I deleted them off of my phone. So I don't have any of the messages that I still needed to write things down to put on my book, and I don't have any of the messages. So yeah, I don't know what the problem is with it, but when things are a certain size, like I can't download it without my computer just like kaputting. So I put stuff on thumb drives to like get rid of like stuff. It doesn't seem, I don't know. I don't think it's like I'm out of storage type problem. I don't know what the problem is. Probably just a freaking old computer, but so needless to say, I'm going to end this live, and then because it's the only way that I can like get this on YouTube is to do it live, where I don't have to download it from Canva, like how I just showed you guys the audio, but I want it to be out there on its own without however long I've been on here. I want it to just be like that part. So I am going to come back on live, but I'm not going to be speaking, and you can chat if you want to. But like, I'm not going to interact with the chat on that because I want to be able to record it. Like, so that's my way of being able to upload it to YouTube. Hopefully that makes sense. So you will see me go live here in a few minutes, but I'm just going to be doing a brief, like, this is the case, this is what the, and I'll give like a few things and then just let the audio play so that people that don't want to engage in an hour, 2 hour long live to get to the crust of it, can just hear that. So, yeah, go private. Oh, I wonder if I can do that. So you're saying to like, give me some more info. I know, Carol, me too. I need to have my friend come over and look at it. He's probably just going to be like, you got this thing for your daughter that is a senior in college. You got this for her when she was like a freshman in high school. So it's just time for a new one. But I hate change. I hate change so much. Ooh. And let me just say this real quick too. I haven't watched all of Greeno's newest live, but just know that he is a lying sack of shit. He got left. Obviously, you saw how he tries to, blame it on me, like I'm contacting his newest ex-girlfriend. But yeah, he's been dealing with that. He's such a liar. I can't believe people can take him seriously 1 ounce. But yeah, he just put up a lie basically explaining why he's been radio silent. Well, I know exactly why he's been radio silent, and it's not because I talked to her. I don't. I've never spoken to her. I've never tried to email her, contact her, and message her. Nothing. But I do know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's anyone willing to come and out his latest lie, because I know that it's a lie and I know where he's been and why. So yeah, don't let him fool you into thinking that he's looking out for the Delphi case. He single-handedly is responsible for a lot of the early and ongoing debacles of the Delphi case. And he's not appreciated by people that really matter. He's not appreciated by law enforcement. He's a pain in their side. No one legitimate. Has he ever been asked to be on Murder Sheet? Has he been, I don't think they're legitimate anyway, but has he ever been interviewed by Court TV or Dateline or News Nation or anything? Even though he is the self-proclaimed, Delphi expert. No one that really counts, like no one that actually has like a degree or a title on their name takes that guy seriously. Why do you think that? Yeah, he said he was interviewed by HLN. Where's that at? Never saw that. That was a lie. They don't know who you are. No one knows who you are, dude. You're a joke. Like, no one's asking you to be a part of any, documentaries. Mm-mm. Nobody, like, that, and that really hit home when I was at CrimeCon. And, like, being around people that are of just a different caliber of individual, like, he is just, like, people would just be like, what? Who is that? Like, what? This guy's a nightmare. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Murder Sheet. I think they're responsible for a lot of the just craziness. And like people just, of course you're going to get people excited about, I had what they had before they came out with it. Like, it was sent to me. No, I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about back in the day. all that stuff that they originally came out with. I already had that. A bunch of people already had that. Like, they're not special. And somehow they become some kind of an authority on this case, and it's weird. And I totally think that they totally manipulated and tricked Snay into giving them the photos. If you listen to what he says real carefully, I think that they tricked him. I don't think they had any photos, but they were like, well, basically like, well, we have, but we don't know that you have them. So send me what you have, and then we'll see if it's the same. No. I mean, that's smart. That's a good way to get it. That's what I thought that Julie Melvin was going to try to do. But yeah, no. I was puzzled when Murder Sheet were interviewed by Harvard Lawyer Channel, and Anya talked about being related to one of the families. Huh? What? Have your husband or boyfriend tell him to not to talk about you. The road goes both ways. Reno needs help. Huh? To tell him. Oh, nah. I'm not gonna. He's not like, I don't. Greeno likes to tell people that he talks to my man, and he definitely does not. Yeah, he's not. I won't involve him. Although, when I did release that video of him threatening me, that little short that I made, after he, threatened me again, tried to intimidate me on his YouTube community post, I immediately posted something because it's just not going to work. Like, you're not going to intimidate me. Sorry, buddy. I know that works for you for everyone else, and I know it really ticks you off that it doesn't work to put me in my place and get me to shut up. But it's just not going to work. So, but my family saw, my brother saw that, and he was not happy, and he was wanting to find him. And I'm like, this, I can handle myself. I know what I'm doing, and I have I'm very calculating on what I do. I know sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but I promise you, I think out what I do. I do think out what I do. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And again, please, 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 it's still up there on the screen. Please email and call her before the 25th of October this month. The hearing is on October 25th at 1:30. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Bye, everyone.